welcome back for another of my favorite reads. This time I'm going to be going over my favorites from June. We had 4 this time, a little bit lighter than I would have expected, but I got some really good ones this time. I know I say that like every time, but I think there was one that really stood out. So I'll just start and kick this right off with Sanctuary by Sam Burns and M.W. Fawkes. So this one kind of took me a little bit by surprise. I do like Sam Burns and W.M. Fawkes. They're a duo pair that write mostly fantasy style romances. And overall, they're pretty good. Every now and then they have a couple misses. So this one was for sure in the hit section for me. It's a little bit fantasy, a little bit of a cross-culture romance, a little bit of a historical feeling only because it kind of feels like old-timey-ish with that fantasy vibe and the riding and carriages. We have Paris, who is sent away as a quote-unquote ambassador to one of these tribal lands to the south, mostly because the king wants to get rid of him for reasons that kind of unfold as we go. And then as he's traveling down, we kind of get this feeling that he's a little bit naive, a little bit sheltered in a way. But that's just mostly because he's been protected kind of from like court life, even though he does understand the intricacies by his family. And so on his way, he's not really looking forward to this at all. He's trying to find his way back home because that's basically all he's known. He thinks he's in love with the prince and all these other reasons. So he's just kind of like looking for a way to find the quickest reason to make this quote unquote treaty that's been his assignment and get back home. And he ends up with the Hawk clan, who is led by Brett. And we have a little bit of a scene with Brett earlier, so we kind of know that there's a little bit of discontent among these clans in the Nemeda region, I guess is what they call it. So there's each clan is a bird. So we got Crane clan and Owl clan, and Brett is in charge of the Hawk clan, which is mostly like agriculture. They a lot of farmers. So they have a lot of land, but they're not like technically warriors, even though there is a war on their southern border that all the clans are sending people down to. So we have a little bit of history that he served some time down there. And now he's back serving his people. And so these two get forced together, Paris and Brett. And of course, there's a little bit of mistrust because one, they don't really know much about each other and they don't know much about each other's culture. But luckily, what I liked about Paris is that even though he obviously didn't want to be there, this was kind of like against what he, his life plan, quote unquote. He was still always like respectful. He still always tried to be nice to everyone, try to like still ease the way. Like he knew that it was kind of like an awkward situation for everybody. So I like that he was kind of delicate going into situations with basically each clan too has their own kind of cultures as well. So he was really cognizant of that, which I kind of enjoyed. And then Brett is a very calm and steady leader. So he's definitely not a hothead. He really respects the people that he's in charge of. And so there's a lot of like, there's like a lot of plot line behind the scenes of like kind of a little bit of not portrayal, but like goings on that kind of make things not appear as they seem. And so I don't want to give away the big secret, but these two slowly learn how to trust in each other and they make a really good team. And at the end of the day, Paris does come to really appreciate a lot of Hawk's cultures. And so he does end up staying down there with them, which was kind of really cute. And then not only that, but he brings his brother and sister down as well. The capital's kind of become a not very good place for that family to return to. So it kicks off a new series. I will say it does have a little bit of a flavor of a similar series that these two have written before, which I really enjoyed. Other series, it was more like dragons, not dragon shifters, but the people had like dragons for pets, that kind of fantasy. And it was Oh, that one was, I would say, a little bit darker. This one had a little bit of a lighter, a little bit more fun atmosphere, flavor, as you will, to the story. And there is going to be a sequel coming up with, I believe it's going to feature Paris's older brother. So I'm really looking forward to seeing more of like this world. It's got great world building. They did a really good job of like bringing in all these cultures. And also, Brett's friends from the other clan leaders, they're really well done. And I like a lot of the side characters. They kind of really help flush out the storyline and keeping it from being a little stale, keeping it feeling like its own story. So like while it could have kind of been a little bit too close to the Dragon series, it does very much stand on its own. And you just have to kind of get past the first couple of scenes where Paris goes in and is unrecognized, like untrusted by everyone else. It has a very similar theme, I think, to I think it's Dragon's Dawn is what the first in the other series. I did like that one. That was really good. But I did like Sanctuary. This has more of an avian vibe, of course, with the hawk, crane, raven, all those kind of fun bird analogies I really liked. Their stuff tends to be a little bit lower on the heat level too, so it's like not quite. They're a little bit more like fade to black, if that's something that you're kind of looking for. I would say like the spice is probably, I don't know, 3, 2.5 at times out of 5 chili peppers, if you're gonna kind of give it a spice warning. So I know some people like a little bit less. I kind of like, to me, the spice level doesn't make or break anything for me. It kind of depends on the writing style and the story. And these guys do really good characters, really nice fantasy realms, and they just keep things kind of like, I don't know, maybe a little bit more than PG-13, but like nothing racy for sure. All right, second up, I know I talked about Grae Bryan a lot. Okay, so we're done with the vampire stories. She's got a new one, a new spin-off. We're talking about Wreaking Havoc. And this is fun. So I love the vampire mates. I'm not, like I said, I'm 50-50 on vampire stories, but her vampire mates worked really well. But this one is now we're getting into demons. So the main character is Sasha, who is Alexi's younger brother. Now, Alexi, you might remember from me talking about Johan quite a bit. So Alexi and Johan are like, I don't know, book 4 or something like that of the vampire mates. And I think ever since Johan got introduced, Grae tries to put Johan into all the stories, as she should. Okay, Johan is for sure a character that will, I don't know, he should be your favorite. He's such a cinnamon roll. So we do get to see a tiny bit of Alexi and Johan, but this does mostly focus on the rest of Alexi's family. So we have Sasha, who's like the younger baby brother. He likes to be a little flamboyant, but he's kind of been beaten down. A little beaten down by his oldest brother, Ivan, and his family to kind of like tame who he is. So he gets stabbed right away by a rival mafia. Of course, Alexi's family's in the mafia. It's like not hardcore mafia. They're kind of like, I would say, like a step under. So they like are definitely like, I think, I don't know, they're probably dealing weapons and maybe some other things. And so, I don't know, is that mafia maybe? It's like mafia adjacent. We'll give these guys the benefit. They're morally gray, okay? And so Sasha's sent away to an undisclosed location as a protection to him, because they were trying to get at his oldest brother, Ivan, for sure. So he goes to this random small town in Maine, and it's just kind of like there, like he's not sure, he's like, I'm not sure how long he's gonna be there. He's kind of like, ooh, I miss my fancy New York lifestyle, like all that kind of things. And he's in this dilapidated-ish, it's not like totally dilapidated, it's just old and needs renovating, but he hasn't done anything with it because he doesn't want to like build roots basically in this house that he's been, I don't know, I think renting. He might be owning it, I'm 100% sure, in this small town. And then one day he comes across this book, right? And he is painting his nails, and he sees an interesting symbol, and he paints that symbol with the nail polish. And next thing you know, he's accidentally summoned a demon in his kitchen. A demon just popped into his kitchen out of nowhere, who happened to be Kai the demon. Kai has a longer name, but Kai is what he goes by, and it's kind of fun. So here's where it picks up. Kai is collecting tiny bits of souls from humans as he makes contracts with people, and all these humans, of course, just want him to like get rid of their enemies. They want extra power, blah blah blah. Kai is tired of the whole thing, and all he needs, of course, right, is one tiny little soul to complete his 1,000-piece collection, so he can kind of like be released from this void and go back to like the demon realm, so he can kind of get on with his life. And of course, Sasha is not what he's expecting. Sasha is like, I don't need power. He's like, I just want to like do my thing. He's like, I just need to get out of this small town, right? So it takes him a little while to understand that, yeah, that is an actual demon in my kitchen that I can't do anything with. They do make a contract, and then the rest of the story is very cute. They get to learn about each other, being, of course, in close proximity to each other. They do go back to New York. They see Ivan. They talk about getting rid of Sasha's enemies. And then, of course, these two fall for each other, and Kai wants to take care of him. And they have to complete this bond before they complete the contract. Otherwise, Kai will get the soul before it's too late, but and have to go back to the demon realm without being able to stay here with his love. I will say it was really nice, the fact that these guys communicated very well with each other. So Kai didn't hide anything. Like, he wasn't like keeping secret that they had to like rush, you know, the bonding. He's like, this is why we have to do it at a certain time. We have to do it before, you know, XYZ if you want it. Like it was like everything was like open and on the table. None of this like shiftiness, nothing like that. So I do really like that. And because Kai is now bound to Sasha, who has been afraid of being abandoned by his entire life, because he's basically felt abandoned by his family. His mom's left when he was very young. Ivan's kind of abandoned him emotionally, being the head of the family. Alexei physically abandoned him by running off to Hyde Park and then becoming mated to Jay, who he has no idea is a vampire. So Sasha's all like, you know, if you're gonna be with me forever, then y'all know you'll never be like, I won't have to worry about being abandoned. And so they kind of like feed each other through this relationship, where like Kai really feels this tie to him to take care of him, and Sasha just absorbs all the attention. But also it's cute. He like, there's little subtle ways where Sasha's trying to give Kai also this need to support back, and so there's some cute moments there, and also it allows that stability, allows Sasha to be able to finally build his roots. So Ivan like knocks on, like, you know, he goes back to see Ivan, and Ivan's like, when you come back to New York, and Sasha's like, no, I'm gonna stay in Maine. So now we're gonna have this like cute little spin-off of these demons. We kind of get introduced to a few of the other demons in this round, and some other characters that are up next in these series. And it looks like the majority of the place's setting is going to be this Maine town. Although I think the next book is going to be in New York for some reasons. But it's really cute. I'm looking forward to this spin-off. And Grae is just really good at making what could potentially be like a really fluffy or like shallow kind of read have like a lot of like depth to it. So I love the characters. They all feel really well fleshed out. They all have like their positives and their negatives, their fears, and then their goals. And I just love how like she actually like brings everything together, and just the characters are well developed. It's just great. Like you can't go wrong with a demon story, but a demon story with feels is even better, and this definitely delivers. Please give it a chance. Next up is probably the one that took me by surprise the most. It's got a super long title, okay? Taken by the Lord of the Nocturne Court by K.A. Merikan. Okay, I know that's a mouthful, but hear me out. If you've never read a K.A. Merikan book before, start with this one. K.A. Merikan, they are known, that's another duo author combo. They are known for darker stories, characters that have consequences to their actions. They write this like paranormal motorcycle club series where like people lose limbs and eyes, and like there's like actual consequences, which I love. I love all that. But this is not that. This is still heavy on the gothic vibes, but it's a little bit lighter overall. Though I will say, Luke, our human protagonist, has quite a complex backstory with some not so great elements to it. Like he's been bullied a lot. His mom is not a great character. Like there's a lot of like which could be like darkness and heaviness, and has definitely made Luke into the character that he is today. And in fact, the main action that made Luke and Chiron kind of meet for the first time was in a quote unquote dreamlike state. Chiron pulled Luke's shadow from the river, and they made quote unquote a deal when he was 14. When Luke was 14, I should clarify. When Luke kind of tried to commit to unaliving himself. So there's a little, it's like tangentially, but it's not I would say in detail a lot. Like it's kind of referenced that night. Luke's lost a lot of the sharper memories to it, so it's more of like a soft, like, I think this happened, I kind of remember some things, but it's like a softer memory that is a little bit revisited. So overall, yeah, of course it's like a darker theme, but it's not heavy in a way, if that makes sense. So Chiron is a Fae prince. However, he's got a secret. He is a twin, which is very looked down upon and fearful in this culture. So he's kind of pretending to be someone he's not. And I like the way that like on Luke's 18th birthday, he comes and finds him, and then he takes him into his Nocturne court world, and he's like, you remember that remember that pact we made a long time ago we talked about? And Luke's like, no. I remember, but that wasn't real. And he's like, oh yeah, so it was. And so Chiron needs Luke to be his shadow, basically, essentially. So to fight this, what they call the Heartbreaker. It's this huge monster that comes from the depths of the ocean and is a threat to basically everyone. So there's a lot of this like court politics a little bit going on. There's this huge new world that I think K.A. Merikan doing an amazing job of creating like these monsters and this culture here. It was just really like, it really, really was very creative and smart, and I just enjoyed the characters. They all have a unique personality to them. It really took me by surprise that like there was still like a humorous thread through it, even with like the heavy gothic nature and like some of like the more serious topics, because both characters essentially have had kind of cruddy childhood to bring that they're in this space now where neither one like they both want to be very independent for different reasons. Like Luke kind of fights back a little bit because he's like, this is not the life I've chosen, and I made a commitment to myself to always do what, things for me. And then Chiron at the same time is like, I'm never going into the box that was created for me. But like they have a hard time like always trusting and saying, I mean, I don't know if communicating is quite the right word, but it's like kind of like putting it all on the table. So like to be like completely trustworthy, like Chiron's got to learn to give Luke, like his independence and like his sense of freedom. So he can't just like, oh, do this because I say so kind of a thing. As much as he would like. So I do really like that there is like an instant chemistry between the two, but it doesn't solidify the relationship. Like in the quote unquote kidnapping, they come to an agreement that Chiron will give Luke a month, like he's like, stay here for a month and be a part of this world for a month. And if at the end of the month you still want to go home, I'll take you home. And Luke's like, sure, I'll do that. And then Chiron to himself is like, I'm gonna get him to stay here. I'm gonna do everything I can to keep him here, but like doesn't like put that out there. It's like, yeah. So he's like, I'm never letting him go. But he's like, he gives him the solution, right? But like I would like to think in the end that like if Luke for sure wanted to go home, the illusion is that Chiron would have let him go. And then probably stalked him in the real world. That's neither here nor there. That's something else. So it was really, really good. And I'm looking forward to the continuation of the series. That was the first in this series. And there's a lot of fun side characters. I'm not quite sure where they're going to take it, but I can see this being really good. So it is nice, a good introduction to K.A. Merikan with like I said, a little bit lighter, a little bit humorous, I would say, for compared to some of their other stories. But yeah, still has that really awesome gothic vibe that like threads through it. It's cool. All right, and lastly, but not least, I know I've talked about the SOS Hotel before, but I have to bring it up because this series just keeps getting better and better. We are, I believe, on the 4th installment now, and I don't want to ruin anything because this is a wild ride that you have to start from the beginning. But it does focus this time a little bit more on Tom Collins, who is our handy dandy bartender, who's not all that he seems to be. He was an AI that Adam bought for cheap. And of course, he seems a little faulty. But he is a little bit not himself this time around. And so of course Adam and Renard and Z have to go on this like adventure to find who the seller was and who can fix what's wrong with him. And of course we're introduced to another set of bad people who are like set out to like, I don't know, not purposely, but kind of purposely ruin Adam's life. And then, of course, at the very end, we have a cliffhanger. I was like, oh no, you did that. They've been alluding to this particular aspect for a while, and now all of a sudden, they're like, we're gonna talk about it. Tune in next time. So there's some really steamy moments between Adam and Z, and then a little bit with Reynard, who's a vampire. Z's this not really a lust demon, but he's a demon that definitely does a lot of lusty things and survives on attention. And then Adam, who is 100% boringly human. Yes, sure. That's what he keeps telling himself / others. So you definitely have to check it out. SOS Hotel by Adam Vex, aka Ariana Nash. Okay. This is the first time like I said, the series is written in first person POV. Ariana normally writes in third person, so I like the fact that like she's like quote unquote writing as Adam because Adam has to be the one to tell this story. It's so good. It's a wild ride. It's fun. It's definitely a little frivolous at times. There's some like, depth to the characters, so it's not like it's just, I wouldn't call it quite a beach read, although you can read it wherever you want. It's a quick read. They're a little on the short side as far as like a full length novel goes, but nothing crazy. They're definitely, I wouldn't say, I think they're longer than novella sizes, so they are definitely like a novel size length, but they're easy to read. They're 100% fun. I like definitely, I'm gonna reread. I have a feeling I'm gonna have to reread from the beginning once we get through all of them and just see like all the things. I'm like, maybe there's some clues that I didn't pick up before. I don't know. I would 100% reread this story just for the craziness alone. The dialogue, 100% worth it. All right, that's all I've got for now. I'm definitely reading some good ones in July that I can't wait to tell you about, but those are going to be kept secret until next time. I would love to hear your comments in the below. See if you got any fun reads over the summer. If you like any of the ones I've suggested or anything like that, please put your comment below. Like and subscribe to see when I put out one of these. I'm trying to get on a nice schedule here, okay? I'm trying to get on a schedule, so we'll see. And with that, I hope you have a great day. Bye.